All right, welcome everyone. While we're getting started, if you could, I'm kind of reaching out to the community. I've talked a lot about how these lives are really growing. That's what got me excited to do them on the weekend. Now, what I'd like to do is improve them a little bit. I don't know if any of you have any suggestions, but do me a favor, whether you DM or put it in the comments. I'm looking for a better camera mount. So again, I got stuff to talk about, so I'll just do this real quick. I'm reaching out to you guys. I've got like this cheesy selfie stick. Like if you notice, every time I do questions, I gotta like hold the thing and keep it from tipping over. And then over on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, I've got a Logitech C920, which is the recommended camera by Livestream.com, which is the awesome software I use. What I'm looking for is something that I could kind of like combine these cameras on so that they're together and it's not like so wobbly. So I've got my iPhone. So again, I've got an iPhone for Instagram. And then for all the other ones, I've got a Logitech C920. And I'd like to basically consolidate them and make it, more rigid. This selfie stick like almost always tips over on me. So again, it's the weekend, so we can relax a little bit. So I was thinking to reach out to all of you. So again, put it in the comments though, not the chats. Okay. So Death Spitter says he's got something. So Death Spitter, shoot a DM if you could, because then when I get done, I'll check DMs, or everyone. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, drop me a comment if you got a suggestion. All right, we wasted enough time on that. Let's get to work. So number one, what I want to remind you of is I'll be back tomorrow at 6:15 Eastern for the opening of the S&P futures. We did a Sunday night one last night. It was fun. It was kind of cool to to kind of get a kickstart on the day. The other thing I want you to remind is the watch list goes out tomorrow. Watch list usually goes out about 3 p.m. Eastern. If you go to the link in our bio, we've got all the links now. So if you're on Twitter, wherever you are, we've got a link tree. So use that because the podcast is there, the YouTube's there, the watch list is there, everything's there. So anyway, tomorrow, get on the watch list. It's free. Back at 6:15 p.m. Eastern, and back Monday morning, 8:30. That being said, get on the 8:30 sessions, please. I mean, some killer call. I mean, I'm a little concerned about the morning sessions next week, because, listen, full disclosure, I don't see how I can outdo last week. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So, anyway, get on them. I mean, even if we don't nail a call, we still consistently have good Q&A, good discussion. So, get on those morning sessions. Done with reminders. Let's get to work. If you're on all the other streaming platforms other than Instagram, you'll see my screen. I've got WHLM. The biggest reason I want to bring this up is this went from 4 to 18 in after hours, okay? Not saying you should be trading in after hours. Again, guys, I see some links. If you could DM those links, because the problem with Instagram chat, when I end it, the chat just kind of goes away. So K.A. Gadaz, thank you for the links. DM them, please. That way I'll see them. But I appreciate it. Anyway, the reason I want to bring up WHLM is this is why, every morning, what's the first thing when we're looking at stocks in 2020? Float, 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 float. Micro cap stock, okay? I mean, and keep in mind, you shouldn't be trading Friday night at 6 p.m. I'm just making a point. I'm making a point of why we look at these things. I mean, there's all these pumpers on Twitter. This WHLM was a Twitter pump, okay? This isn't a good company. I don't think they even had news. It's just a flat out Twitter pump. But when we see these, we know how to recognize these. Listen, MXC was not a good company. MTP missed, okay? But they're some of the best trading opportunities out there. So, all right, let's get to work on the other stuff I had for you. The other thing I want to talk about is, this is a market briefing, so I want to talk about more of the macro. Obviously, the markets are closed right now, so it's not like we can really break down tickers, okay? But I posted a story to this Everybody's a Day Trader article. This is something I've been talking about since last fall, okay? And I tell this story a lot. Bitcoin brought so many people to day trading, okay, back in 2017. Then we had, then we had all the commission-free trading last fall. Basically, practically everyone went commission-free last fall. Then we come in today, or then we come into February, March, and we get the shutdown. And that's what this entire Everybody's a Day Trader Now Wall Street Journal article. If you don't have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, it's when people ask me what's like the one newspaper I should pay for, it's always going to be Wall Street Journal. I subscribe to Barron's. I subscribe to Business Week. I subscribe to Investors Business Daily. I really think it's worth the money, and it's a great. It's still the Wall Street Journal. It hasn't fell apart like all the other newspapers out there. So anyway, you're going to have to pay for a subscription. You could probably get the trial and read this article. So anyway, it's just talking about the stay-at-home order, people looking to make money, and the lack of sports. There's no sports gambling out there. There's so much going on out there, and this is what I talk about with the volume, man. Look at E-Trade in March. E-Trade added more accounts in March 2020 than the entire previous year. Robinhood added, like hundreds or millions. I think it was millions of users. You look at this chart, the number of Robinhood user positions in the S&P 500. 14 million people are holding S&P 500 stocks. My point is, this is why things are so wild right now, man. We look at these stocks that trade 2, 3, 4. We've seen stocks trade 500 million, penny stocks, mind you, okay? Junk penny stocks trade 500 million plus shares in a day. And this is the biggest point from this article, okay? And this is where I go kind of like, this is where it goes a little dark, okay? You guys know, if you're on these sessions, I constantly say I want everyone to thrive, okay? I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what nationality you are. I want everyone to prosper, okay? Now, here's where I'll go dark. There is so much opportunity out there because none of these people know what they're doing, all right? They don't know. They're not on these sessions, okay? They're not listening to the podcast. They're not watching hour-long webinars. They're not reading. I got my bookshelves over there. I got hundreds of trading books. This is the point of this article, and this is the point of today. If you're taking this seriously, okay, you're not just, hey, I'm buying this, I'm buying that. If you're studying, working hard, analyzing your positions, sticking to a trade plan, okay? I guarantee these 3 million new Robinhood users, none of them have a plan in any trade. They're just buying stuff and saying, I hope it goes up. But here's the thing. The more newbie idiots there are out there, remember, it's the shark, okay? Be a shark, okay? And if you study and you work hard, there's so many just dumb fish out there, okay? I mean, there's so many fish that are just like swimming along nice and slow. And if you're the shark, man, it's like a unlimited buffet, baby, okay? So read the article. It's interesting. And again, I don't want these people to lose, okay? I don't. But at the end of the day, if they're not going to study, if they're not going to track their trades, if they're not going to do spreadsheets, if they're not going to read the books, if they're not going to listen to the podcast, if they're not going to be consumed by this, okay, I'm consumed. Who else is doing Instagram lives, YouTube lives, talking trading on the weekends? Who's doing it twice a day, every single day? Who's doing 3 webinars a day? I am consumed by trading. If you are too, you can be the shark and not all the dumb little fish, all right? So that's the point. Really great article, though. Please read it. Get the free trial to Wall Street Journal and etc. So, all right. That's my cue, or that's my agenda. Let's. Can you talk about? I got a time for a little bit of Q&A, and then we'll get out of here. We'll enjoy our weekend, and I'll be back tomorrow. Can you talk about float rotation? Very simple concept, okay? Remember, float. Float is the freely tradable shares, the supply, okay? The easiest way to think about float rotation, it's just supply and demand, okay? So if you've got 1 million shares in the float, and the stock is trading 2 million shares on the day, that is 2x float rotation. But think about what has to happen there. If there's only 1 million shares, there's more demand than there is shares. So people have to bid up, okay? The bidders got to step up or nobody's going to sell. If there's 1 million shares and the volume's there, you're going to raise, the bidders got to raise. Odds are the stock continues to spike because they're all locked up and nobody's selling. Nobody's selling unless the price is higher. So that is the simplest way to think about float rotation. And the more times the float rotates, the higher likely, like Gene last week, GENE is a great example. That stock broke the high of the day 6 times, but I don't even know how many times the float rotated. Supply, demand. More times it rotates, more likely now it's not guaranteed, but the more likely the stock is to spike. You keep a trading journal of all trades to analyze win losses, important for growth. Chris, if you're not doing this, you're doomed, okay? You're one of the losing Robin Hooders, okay? Because if you don't track your trades, you don't know what works, what doesn't work. I mean, you might think you do, okay? But if you're an active trader, you might not, you might think something works when it doesn't work. And you might find that something, whatever it is, let's say, I know I bag on people shorting low floats a lot, but maybe if you look at your data, you might be like, wait a minute, I got a 20% win rate in this strategy. I got a 50% win rate in this strategy, but I got a 75% win rate in this strategy. What's that tell you? Trade number 3. Only trade that. Focus, okay? One of the biggest things I think that new traders get tripped up on is they're just trying everything, okay? They're long, they're short, high price, low price, Forex, crypto, futures, options. They're just doing everything. And maybe their P&L, maybe their account is growing, okay? Maybe you're doing everything and your account is slowly growing. But if you track your data and you review, you might find out that forget all this other crap. I'm going to focus on 2 setups. And again, go to the link in bio, check out the podcast. Steven Johnson, talks about this a ton. I mean, once he focused on like what, I mean, at this point, I think Steven trades one setup. One. If I, DM him on Twitter, okay? He's my co-host on the podcast. I think he trades one setup, and he's crushing it. Crushing it. But he didn't crush it until he started focusing. What's the ideal float and what's the ideal volume? That's kind of a big question, and with a lot of variables. Now, I would say this. I'm assuming we're talking about like the dip and rip, the morning movers that we look at, okay? Because, Elisa, I'm going to speculate that you're asking about a morning dip and rip type setup. I don't know, I'm going to guess. But what you're looking for is less than 10 million float, lower the better, okay? Less than 10 million float, ideally less than 5 million. And then the ideal volume on that setup, like say Monday morning. Okay, here we go. Monday morning, if I come in and there's a 5 million float stock trading 7, 8 million shares, 10 million shares when I go live at 8:30, that's my number one watch. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you right now. If there's one, if I come in 8:30 Monday morning, there's a 5 million float stock, I go live and it's traded 7, 8, 9, 10 million shares, it's my number one watch that day. I can tell you right now. So, all right, everyone. Good stuff today for a weekend. Wow. Love this, man. And, our numbers are way down versus during the week, but geez, we still got 300 here, 300 on YouTube. Awesome, man. Be the shark, baby. Showing up. I mean, it's a beautiful sunny day. You can see it. But you're here trying to get better. That's how you succeed in this. You're trying to do one of the most competitive things in the world, okay? But you're here studying on Saturday afternoon when I think it's, the majority of the country. It's probably a beautiful day in the majority of the country today. So, all right, everyone, back tomorrow night at 6:15 to check out the opening of S&P futures and plan for the day. Check out the watch list and DM me those suggestions on the mount. I'm sick of this little thing that always wants to fall over on me. So, and again, I use an iPhone and I use a Logitech C920. That's my two cameras to stream on all the services. So, all right, everyone, have a great weekend. See you tomorrow night, and thank you for being here. Again, great numbers for a Saturday. All right.